or good morning from whatever time you're watching me from. This is the voice of Sawizi from the Jamb Focus channel. Alright, so today we have a new lecture series and we are going to be focusing on vocabularies or words on foreign policy and also Nigerian's foreign policy. So I'm going to discuss about 10 words today that relates to foreign policy, which are diplomacy, number 1, number 2, sovereignty, number 3, bilateral, number 4, multilateral, number 5, treaty, number 6, sanction, number 7, geopolitics, number 8, foreign aid, number 9, national interest, and number 10, embassies. So these are the 10 vocabularies or words we'll look at why on this video about foreign policy. So let's start now. First of all, what is foreign policy? Now, you should understand something, that when we talk about foreign policy, it's a very broad topic, especially for the Jamb and Waec syllabus. It's very broad, but yet it is very interesting and interactive. So let's start first of all. Now, when we talk about foreign policy, we are talking about the totality, that is everything that concerns a state's behavior towards other states, or simply put, the behavior or reaction or action of a state towards another state defines foreign policy. It means that be it political, be it economic, socio-cultural, sports, name it all of these encompasses what we mean or what we define as the foreign policy of a state. So it therefore means that the way state A behaves to state B, and let's say for example state A is Nigeria and state B is Ghana. So it simply means that the way Nigeria behaves or reacts towards Ghana defines our foreign policy. So that is just the basic idea before I dive right into the concept of foreign policy. So let's start from number 1, diplomacy. Alright, now as you can see on your screen, diplomacy, I read, the practice of managing international relations and communication between countries. Now, diplomacy simply means anything short of war or anything short of conflict. So, for example, if states engage in trade activities, is diplomacy. In discussion, is diplomacy. Signing agreements and treaties, diplomacy. Anything that goes beyond peaceful resolution is no longer diplomacy. For example, you cannot say war is diplomacy. Although war can be a tool, or war is a tool of foreign policy implementation. But diplomacy means a peaceful method of conducting relations. That is diplomacy or diplomatic. Number 2, sovereignty. As you can see, it defines that the authority of a state to govern itself and make its own decisions, that is sovereignty. Now, how does sovereignty relate to foreign policy? Now, in the international realm, or also international law, states are seen as sovereign entities. That is why a state can send an ambassador or a high commissioner to other states. Why? They are sovereign entities. And according to international law, an ambassador or high commissioner, that is a diplomat or representative of a state in another state, cannot be arrested or cannot be subjected to the law of the state he was sent to. So let's say, for example, I am the ambassador of Nigeria to, let's say, Russia. Now, Russian law cannot apply to me. Why? Because I am the ambassador. I am an embodiment of the sovereignty of Nigeria. In fact, I am seen as the Nigerian president in Russia. So therefore, not, or rather, I cannot be subject to Russian law. So that is the element of sovereignty in foreign policy. Number 3, bilateral. Now, bilateral just means relations or activities or actions between two countries, because bi means two, lateral means relationship. So, bilateral agreement between two countries. So, let's say, for example, Nigeria and Ghana, I only like using Ghana, good, because they are close to us. Nigeria and Ghana sign a trade agreement that is bilateral, just between Nigeria and Ghana. So that's number 3. And you can see that from definition, they say that involving two sides, typically referring to agreement or relations between two countries, bilateral. Number 4, multilateral. I like this one. Now, when it comes to the Jamb syllabus, you should understand something. Nigeria's foreign policy is not bilateral. Rather, Nigeria's foreign policy is multilateral. So multilateralism is a basic feature of Nigeria's foreign policy. You know why? Nigeria is a member of various international organizations such as UNO, Ecowas, AU, G77, NEPAD. So Nigeria being a member of various international organizations makes it have a multilateral outlook. You can see that they are different, and each of these organizations has large member base. Before I forget, Nigeria is also a member of the non-aligned movement, which she joined 1963. All right, now, all right, back to the question. Number 5, treaty. Now, what is a treaty? A formal agreement between two countries that is legally binding. Now, a treaty is just everything I've been saying. Treaty means an agreement, documented or not documented. It's just an agreement between two countries. So, if, for example, okay, let me use a different country now, Nigeria and USA, all right, they sign a trade agreement or political agreement or military agreement. It's called a treaty. So, a treaty simply means an agreement. It could also mean an accord. Number 6, sanction. A penalty or restrictive measure imposed by one country on another to influence behavior. Now, sanction simply means punishment. You get? And most times, sanctions are used by states to deter other states or to make other states refrain from doing something. So, for example, let's use Nigeria now as a good example. In 1995, Nigeria was sanctioned by most Western nations, and this falls under the regime of General Sani Abacha. And the Abacha regime was known to have abused and violated human rights of Nigerians. So therefore, Nigeria was suspended from different organizations, and a good example was the Commonwealth of Nations. So sanction means punishment. Sanction can also mean threat. You get now? Sanction can mean threat, punishment, anything to stop you from doing something. It's a sanction. All right, number 7, geopolitics. The study of how geographic factors affect international relations and politics. Now, geo means geography, then politics means affairs of the state. So, the affairs of state within a particular geography is defined as geopolitics. For example, Nigeria being in West Africa is a member of ECOWAS. What is ECOWAS? Economic Community of West African States. And again, Nigeria being in the geography of Africa, she's a member of the AU. What is the AU? African Union. So geopolitics just means activities that revolve around a particular continent or region in the world. Number 8, foreign aid. Economic, military, or humanitarian assistance given by one country to another. Now, foreign aid, foreign, external. Aid means support, help, supplies. You get? I don't mean the virus AIDS. I mean aid, AID, actually means a supply or something to assist you, like financial aid, material aid. You get now? So it's like relief materials. Food can be an aid, money can be an aid. You get? Healthcare can be an aid as well. You get the point now. So foreign aid just means like things to give in support of other nations. Number 9. Oh, I like number 9. National interest. This is one of, in fact, this should be number 1, no, not even number 9, because it should be at the top of the list when it comes to foreign policy. National interest. Now, national interest, a country's goals and ambitions in relation to its political, economic, and security concerns. Now, national interest is actually the boiling point, or rather, the cross, or the major determinant of foreign policy of states. National interest is what determines how a state behaves. National interest is what guides your foreign policy, is what guides your relations. Because national interest actually means what a state seeks to achieve in her foreign policy. And what is foreign policy? In her behavior or relation. So it means that, like it said in English, there is no smoke without fire. It means that national interest actually underpins foreign policy. And national interest is what motivates the foreign policy. Because you must want to achieve something before you enter into a relation or an engagement with a country or even with a person as well. So it is your national interest that actually plays a major role. That is why whenever you're asked a question in Jamb or an examination, a major determinant of foreign policy, the answer would always be national interest. Now, I won't really go into the types of national interest because this video is just limited to this concept. Okay, maybe in a separate video I would explain foreign policy and national interest more in depth. So the final point for today is embassies, which are official offices of a country's government located in another country representing diplomatic interest. Now, I understand that embassies or an embassy is a building that houses representatives, diplomats, ambassadors of a state in another state. So it simply means that where an ambassador stays and also the officials that work in with the ambassador is called an embassy. And an embassy, as I explained about sovereignty, is seen as a representation or a replica of that state. You get now in the host state. So let's say, for example, I'm the ambassador of Nigeria to Russia. I will stay in the Nigerian embassy in Russia. Now, the premises where I stay as the ambassador is seen as Nigeria. So therefore, the embassy cannot be subject to Russian law. You get. We also have what we call high commissions. That is for the Commonwealth countries, but I won't go into those now. It will be in a separate video like I mentioned. So quickly, let's do a recap of what I said. Diplomacy, anything short of war. Sovereignty, the authority of a state. Bilateral, engagement between two countries. Multilateral, engagement between two or more countries. Treaty, an agreement between countries. Sanction, a penalty or a punishment. Geopolitics, affairs around a particular geography. Foreign aid, assistance such as finance or food. National interest, the achievement of a state or the goals of a state in our relations with other states. And finally, number 10, embassy, the premises of the ambassador. Alright, so if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe and also turn on the bell icon to be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, so thank you and have a lovely day. Ciao.